Cześć kochani and warm welcome in our first episode of year 2025. I personally believe that any day, any time, any week is really perfect for changes, and especially if we are talking about changing something in our life for better. So whenever we want to start eat better, exercise, learn languages or anything, any day is perfect to start. However, I understand that a lot of people like to treat this beginning of the year as this starting point, very symbolic and something that is very motivating. So regardless if you just starting now with this new year, the adventure with healthier living, and you're trying to look for easy recipes that can kickstart your process and help you to a little detoxify, take care of your microbiome, or you are someone who's been doing this for years and just looking for new recipes, this is perfect for you. What we will be making today is a super simple but very delicious salad, which can be eaten right away or with just a little tiny twig can be put away for a few days for fermentation. It is very low in calories, but very dense in nutrients. So let's get started. For this, we will be using red cabbage, and I have 2 small heads of red cabbage, 2 large beets. We have 2 apples, 1 large carrot, 1 small red onion, and leek, very skinny, very small leek. If you cannot find the leek, that's okay. You can very easily skip it and you can add another small onion. The reason why I like using leek because it has very mild flavor and also is absolutely amazing in supporting our body with processes of detoxification. We also will need some kind of combination of greens. I have such a leftovers here, so like almost with every salad, this is great opportunity to kind of clean your fridge. And I have a little leftover of parsley, Italian parsley, and a little leftover of dill. So all together, whatever you have there, you can use also a little cilantro or dill only or parsley only. We will need more or less 1 cup of chopped greens. Adding parsley is wonderful because parsley is again very good with helping our body with the detoxification process. Also is very rich in vitamin C, high in iron, so as you can see, it's really beneficial. If it comes to all the veggies that I'm using, they are all grown without any chemical sprays, without any synthetic fertilizers, anything like this, nothing bad. And I really encourage you, if possible, to also use organically grown vegetables and fruits, because you're not adding extra toxin in your body. Usually produce like this, it's even higher in nutrients, especially if you buy it from someone who really takes care of the soil and remineralization. If you, for whatever reason, can't use organically grown vegetables and fruits, then it's very important to clean them very well. So what I would recommend for you, let's say with beets, you would fill your sink with lukewarm water and add 1 cup of baking soda and just soak everything for about 20 minutes, half an hour, just moving this once in a while to help all those pesticides to fall off. You can also do that instead of baking soda, add 1 cup of vinegar and the same process, and afterwards you will just rinse it very well, brush it again very well under running water, and probably peel, let's say, the beets or apples. In my case, I only washed everything and I'm not going to peel any of my and we are ready to start. So first thing, oh, and of course I forgot that we also will need garlic. I have 8 beautiful cloves of garlic. If you are not biggest fan of garlic, of course you can use less, but especially when we'll be fermenting later, it will really mellow in flavor, but it will give you a lot of health benefits. So first we're going to chop the cabbage. So I will cut it in half, and I will just remove this ending here because usually it's a little woody. I'm not very particular. If a little bit stays, that's okay. And now I will quarter it. And if you have a mandolin, you can use mandolin, so you can shred it very, very fine. You could also use a food processor. Some food processors have this attachment for shredding, and I will use knife. I will just try to chop it as fine as I possibly can. Cabbage is so rich in vitamins, very high in vitamin C, very high in fiber. It really is wonderful prebiotic for those good bacteria. And red cabbage is even higher in antioxidants than the regular white cabbage because of the color. All right, so my cabbage is shredded, and as you can see probably here, my bowl is almost full. So I'm going to grab a bigger bowl. This will do. This is my bowl for making kimchi, for making bigger batches of sauerkraut. And now we're going to add to it the red onion. I'm going just to cut this in half and slice it very, very thinly. And right into our bowl. Now I'm going to add my leek, and I'm just going to cut it in half lengthwise, and now thinly slice it. And I usually use the white part until this light green, so it would be probably up to here, because the rest usually is very, very tough, and I want it to be nice, soft and tender. That's perfect. And now I'm going to chop my herbs again finely. And I like using those ends of my herbs because you can even use the tougher parts. When we chop them very finely, they will not be like a woody, sticky. But they still are full of nutrients. So I usually either chop them when I do ferments, or I use them when I cook my broths. And the leftover dill. Dill will add great aroma. I have about a cup of chopped herbs. But the beautiful thing about this recipe, the salad recipe, is not like with baking cakes. You don't have to be very strict with how much of what you're using. You can play around and every time create your own combination. It's completely up to you. It will work no matter what. So here we have so far the cabbage, our red onion, leeks, look at the beautiful lime green, and our herb. This all looks so beautiful. And this is all if it comes to chopping. So just as I said before, now I'm going on this grater with the big holes, big eyes. I don't really know how you call it. I'm going to shred my beets, apples, carrot, and garlic. Just each clove separate. Amazing thing is with this salad that we are adding beets, because usually sauerkraut, even if we're making sauerkraut or cabbage salad, they are without beets. But I found that if we add beets, not only The flavor is very, very interesting, but also we get all the benefits that come from beets, especially after we ferment them. So now this salad will become true nutritional bomb, and we will have pretty much every possible vitamin, every possible mineral right here in this salad. And please look how wonderful everything looks in this bowl. Everything shredded. And now, last thing, I'm going to shred the garlic. Everything looks absolutely beautiful. Look at the rainbow here. Oh, it's just looking at this makes me feel better and healthier. And before the next step, let's just mix everything very well together. I'm going to put as much as I need for tonight's dinner in another bowl, and then we will do the next step. I think this is going to be enough for my family for supper today, and the rest I will ferment. And as you can see, my hand is a little stained, but no worries, this is not very permanent. Probably one or two washes it will come off. But however, if you don't want to end up with red hand like this, you can use gloves for food preparation. So this I'm going to put aside, and we are going to focus on seasoning the salad for tonight's dinner. I'm going to use separate bowl just to make the dressing. Jars are wonderful too. You can put everything in a jar and then shake it very well to mix the dressing. I'm going to use bowls. So, one thing that I really, really love, especially at this time of the year, because it really helps to boost our immune system, is horseradish. So if you happen to have a horseradish root, you can shred about an inch right directly into your salad, and you can shred into both. Or if you have prepared horseradish, just like I have here, you can use this. So I'm going to put about teaspoon of horseradish, about a teaspoon of just grainy mustard, a little splash, but I will try to measure. I usually eyeball those things, but let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, and I will just whisk it all together. And now we are going to add about 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil. Since we will not be heating this olive oil, let's try to use the best quality, because olive oil also is very good for our health. And now I'm just going to whisk it together, but first let's add a little salt. And I'm going to start with about half a teaspoon, and I have Himalayan salt. I don't use table salt. I usually use either Himalayan or gray sea salt, and the reason is both are unrefined and they have about over 80 minerals in them, so they are much better for our health. And now I'm going to whisk this all together, and it will start to emulsify. And now I'm just going to taste if it's salty enough. Perfect, because there was salt also in our grainy mustard, so in my opinion it's just perfect. And all we have to do, we are just going now to pour it all together and mix it well. Oh, this looks so good and smells so wonderful. And after we mix it very well together, I like to put it aside and let it rest for about half an hour, maybe while I'm preparing the rest of my dinner. You can even keep it, let's say, overnight in the fridge, because the next day it's going to be wonderful too. It's just for all the flavors to just, marry each other and just to become even tastier. Looks good. I'm going to taste it. This is so delicious. And now we are back to our big bowl with the salad ready to be fermented. So the rule of thumb when me doing any fermented foods like this, it's that for every kilogram of the material that we will be fermenting, it goes 2% of salt. So if we are working with 1 kilogram, we should put 20 grams of salt, and so on, so on. So if you want, you can weigh all your ingredients here, and you can calculate the exact amount of salt that you need. Absolutely fine. But because I've been making ferments for really long time, I eyeball everything. I never had a failure with it, so I trust here my eye and my intuition. But you do whatever works for you. So for this amount I have here, I will use 2 tablespoons of salt. And if you would like at this point to add some herbs, for example, caraway is wonderful because caraway goes very well with cabbage and with beets. That would be awesome. I would probably add about no more than 1 teaspoon, maybe half a teaspoon, because caraway, for this amount, because caraway is quite strong. I have nothing left. I used last for Christmas, so I will stick to salt only. And now all we have to do is to mix it super well, just mixing and squeezing, like pressing it. So if you had a stressful day at work, make some cabbage, and then you can release all your tension. You can pass everything here on this cabbage. Okay, so we just mixing and squeezing, mixing and squeezing for a good few minutes, and hopefully this will start releasing some juice. It looks like it's nicely squeezed. It started, our cabbage started to release juices. So now I'm going to put it in a jar. And of course you can use 1 large jar or a few smaller ones, and let's try to pack it quite firmly. So when I put it inside, I press it down, but not to the very top. I would say we're gonna leave empty space for about inch and a half from the top of the jar, because when the fermentation will start happening, the cabbage and the juices will start rising, and you just don't want it to overflow on your kitchen counter. And everything is in jars. I have two and a half jars. Each of them is a 1 liter jar. We want to press it down very hard, so the juice, I hope you can see, the juice starts to come to the surface, and that's what we want to happen. We want this cabbage, the mixture, to be submerged under the juice. And we're gonna do the same with all of the jars. All right, so everything looks very good, and I'm going to just clean those jars a little. And we are going to leave them on the kitchen counter. And now we can either cover them with a clean kitchen towel, or just very lightly put the cover without even screwing it on, just loosely, just to prevent anything to falling into our jars. And when they sit on the kitchen counter, as I said, when the fermentation happens and the more intense it is, everything will start bubbling and will start coming to the surface. So every day, just when you see it, when you see that the cabbage is going up, every day or couple times a day, just with hand or with a spoon, clean spoon, please press it down so it's submerged again, and it will rise to the top. That's okay, then we will submerge again. This will help to prevent spoilage. Usually this ferment will be ready after sometimes between 3, 7, sometimes 10 days. It will all depend on the temperature in your house. So I suggest that after, let's say, 2-3 days, just taste it and see if you can taste the tanginess. Whenever the ferment reaches the stage that you love it, that it's enough for you, then all you have to do, just close the jar, place it in the fridge, and it will continue fermenting, but much slower. Please forgive me the mess, but this is my real kitchen, this is real-time cooking, so it is what it is. And I hope you enjoyed those recipes, and I hope you will try it for yourself. Please let me know how it turned out. Please let me know how you like it. And for today, I thank you very much for being here. I wish everybody very healthy and prosperous New Year. Let's remember, when we have a health, we are the richest people in the world. So I also encourage you to check different recipes on my website. Many of them are ferments, so please check them out if you like. And I thank you so much for being here, and I see you next time.